Bienvenue à 6e épisode de Mes Oreilles 27 du Yatncast. Je m'appelle Michael Harmstone, and I can't be asked doing any more French. And joining me, as always, is Sir Goose, Logan Saunders.
Afternoon.
Madam Baseball, Michelle Pearce-denovan.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. And Sir Twerp, Ben Powell.
Howdy, mate.
You can tweet us, as always, using hashtag yatncast or email us at yatncast@gmail.com. So did we enjoy this episode?
Yes.
There was no intro. There was no intro again.
My first point, that, Logan. This better not mean that you're skimping on the Ginger Ninjas at the end. May I point out?
I won't skimp on it
That's an outro,
this week.
I'll culture swine.
It is. Also, because it's Halloween, darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. Creatures crawl in search of blood to terrorize your neighborhood. And whosoever shall be found without the soul for getting down must stand and face the hounds of hell and rot inside a corpsing shell.
Is that Michael Jackson's Thriller intro?
It is. It's Vincent Price. It's Vincent Price, which I do every time it comes on at work, which today was a lot because it's awesome.
Thriller still comes on the radio at Halloween over in the UK.
Oh yeah, well, my work's radio is rather well known for being stupid with all the seasonal songs, so we will start getting Christmas songs probably from tomorrow. But they play all the naff Halloween songs and all the good Halloween songs.
This might be a foreign concept for your country, but you know there are other songs, right?
Oh yeah, they play other songs as well, but I mean, on days like today we get stuff like All Stars, things that go bump in the night from the Scooby-Doo movie, we get Monster Mash, we get Thriller. What are the other Halloween songs we get? There's loads of them. Ghostbusters we do get as well.
Rob Zombie?
No.
Oh. Well, I hang on Tumblr a lot, so basically I've heard a dubstep remix of Spooky Scary Skeletons for the past 3 weeks.
So previously, 8 teams continued racing in Zimbabwe. Tanner and Josh gave the express pass to Denise and James Earl. Logan and Chris slipped early but managed to gain ground thanks to other teams' mistakes. Denise and James Earl overtook Justin and Diana in the world's slowest foot race to win the leg, and Jasmine and Danielle were out of the race after they misread 2 clues. And as Logan said, there is no intro again this week. Boo!
Instead, we get another awkward staged conversation at the start of the round. It's such a... I don't know if these scenes should continue on in subsequent seasons because the conversations just seem so forced and unrealistic, and it's just 2 teams of the show talking, just approaching each other in front of the camera. It's very odd.
But on the plus side, we get more airtime for Denise, who is glorious. Because Denise's facial expressions this round especially were awesome.
It's not like they're going to take airtime away from her.
True. I said this last week, on Tuesday, but she's a star.
It turns out, this might be a hard concept for people to understand, but there are stars in this season other than Justin, Diana, and Josh and Tanner.
I know, but on the plus side, I think we all prefer Justin and Diana to Tanner and Josh anyway.
Correct.
Indeed.
It's like I was saying, if you give other people screen time, they might be funny.
Or have a very awkward relationship. For some reason, people are still calling them the Bates family, yet it's more Motherboy. So we don't even get a location right at the start of the leg, it's just straight into the first roadblock, which is who wants to get their blood pumping. And in this roadblock, one team member must perform a casual 364-foot bungee jump over the Zambezi River to receive the next clue. And after every task this leg, they must record their heart rate. And it's Denise, Diana, Tanner, Joey, Krista, Rick, and Chris doing the roadblock.
It's so awful. I was having flashbacks to mine. And mine was, I think it would have only been like 150 metres. But Jesus, it's so bad. It's so bad. I'd have to be pushed to do it again.
And I would never do it. But on the plus side, we get Denise's facial expressions to having to do this, Tanner's facial expressions to having to do this, which for some reason they didn't include the thing that they included in the Next Time trailer last week, of him just looking depressed about having to do it.
97, 98, 99, 99, 99.
But most interestingly, over the past couple of weeks, they've been building up the fact that Kelsey does all the adrenaline-pumping tasks and Joey doesn't. And yet, we saw nothing from Joey saying, basically, I'm so scared to do this task. And I have actually asked him about this on Twitter today, just whilst I was doing the podcast prep, because I was really intrigued. And he said that he was surprised that they didn't even point it out either. He said he went into beast mode and just jumped. Kelsey enjoys that stuff. I'm not so much scared as massively cautious.
Well, I'll probably care more if they were more interesting. But, you know...
They aren't very interesting at all. They're so bland.
They're nice, though.
Well, they are nice.
I take them
nice
over
and
Tanner and Josh.
Nice doesn't get the ratings, Michael. No matter what, the Facebook groups suggest.
Now they just forward it anymore. Anything else to say about this task apart from, oh my god, it's so much bigger than Michelle's bungee jump?
No.
Not really, just the awkwardness with Justin and Diana before the jump, but other than that, it's just another height-related task on the Amazing Race, and we've already had several of those this season, so we can just go onwards.
At least this probably doesn't mean that we'll get it at Macau Tower as well.
Oh, we probably will.
We might have a task at Macau Tower, but hopefully it won't with the bungee jump now.
How many times can they jump off the Macau Tower on the Amazing Race in the Amazing Race franchise?
Oh, thousands.
1, 2, 3 that I can think of off the top of my head. That's just from the American, Canadian, Asian version.
Australia's done it as well, I think.
So 4?
Yeah. So, teams have to now fly to Paris, and where do they have to find Ben? Did you write it down? Or do I have to do the French?
You do it. French is not my, I'm more Spanish. In fact, I'm actually learning Spanish, so.
Aerodrome Musée Valence-Saly. And search for their next clue. And as is the trend with every single country on this race, Justin and Dana are the first to leave the airport, and their train is the first to leave because they managed to get on one without anyone else and get a 20-minute lead.
Woo!
You don't really see people like Justin and Diana just blatantly dominate most of the race like they have so far.
Yeah, there has not been a single country yet that they have not been the first people to it. With the exception of Zimbabwe, but that doesn't really count. There hasn't been a single country that the race has flown into that they haven't been the first ones there. Which is a quite impressive record for halfway through the season now.
I mean, it gets rather boring when they're still trading first place with someone, and they're always at the top of the rankings, and always at the top of the pack, and have never faltered whatsoever. That gets kind of boring, but it's good, I guess.
It could be worse. They could be not interesting people.
It could be Joey and Kelsey always being in first all the time.
Oh, that would be worse, actually.
Yeah, that would be awful.
Justin and Diana's dominance is actually fun because we actually get to see them fighting a little bit, but also they have more than enough personality to sort of justify them being shown being in first all the time. It could be worse.
I'm not as keen on them. I think they're good. I think they're fun to interact with on social media and stuff, and they're obviously nice people, but God, they can be annoying sometimes. I know that is not uncharted ground in the podcast, in the recap world, or the
Gaucho,
anywhere.
Mi amigo, stupido americano.
I love that. I'm sorry. I'm just so tolerant, obviously. I love them.
The thing is, I know that if I was ever on the race, I would be that irritating. I would be
I think
amped
I
up
would be
all
too.
the time. I would be fighting with my partner regardless of who it was.
Note to self, never watch Amazing Race UK.
Yeah, I have two potential partners in mind if Amazing Race ever did come to the UK, and both of them I would fight horribly with, and it would be awesome telly, and we would be rather abusive to each other, but we're all best friends, so it's fine.
Until you're finished.
Oh no, we'd forgive each other if we won. We're all just very competitive. So, once they get to the aerodrome, it's the second roadblock, which is who's feeling revolutionary. And in this roadblock, the team member who didn't do the bungee jump must fly in a World War II biplane over the fields and spot the three words that make up France's motto, which is liberté, égalité, and fraternité.
I think you mean Libite, Egalite, Fraternite.
They were
Sounds
very
like Pokemon.
They were very liberal with the pronunciations at the end.
Even the guard or the clue giver who was just pointing at the camera when somebody would butcher the French language. I guess none of them know that if there's an accent above the E at the end of the word in French, you pronounce the E.
Well, and at the start of the word, because égalité has one as well. Egalite has 2.
Yes.
I might have just been as like blind as racist, but I didn't see any accents on the actual letters. So
No, there wasn't any, which is probably why they didn't really care about the pronunciation that much. But a lot of the pronunciations were a bit whiffy, especially as French is a very largely spoken language.
yeah, I can't imagine them of actually sending the racists back. Oh, you didn't pronounce the accents. We never put it in the letters. You have to go back and do it again.
Yeah, it just made me wince a little bit as a passable French speaker. Just going, really? Bit whiffy.
If they did that if they did this task in Quebec, they for sure would have been rejected if they didn't pronounce the E at the end of the word. They would be very angry that they didn't get the language correct.
Typical Quebecois.
And then Canada would have like lynched them.
To be fair, there's only 2 nice Quebecois people, and that's Nick and Sabrina. Everyone else in Quebec, not so much.
Which Sabrina though?
Oh, depends if we want good... Actually, they were both good TV, weren't they? I'll have to think about that.
Are you saying Elaine and Audrey aren't nice?
Their intro was in a boxing ring. That was just showing us who were going to fight.
You're alienating our entire audience by like excluding every single Quebecian, saying,
Massive Quebecois audience. It's literally ones of people.
Can you say Elaine and Audrey again?
Elaine and Audrey!
God, I love that.
I loved it every time Monty said it. So yeah, they've got to say liberté, égalité, fraternité and say it to the judge to receive the next clue. Of course, they've got to spot them whilst doing stunts in the plane. And it's Justin, Josh, Tiffany, Logan, James Earl, Cindy and Kelsey doing the Roadblock. And this was another task where there wasn't much to say about it. It was a cool looking task, but there's not a lot for podcasters to say about it.
You'd think Logan would have been able to spot the words, considering she's a paparazzi and she has to spot, celebrities everywhere.
Yeah, Logan, why couldn't you spot the words? Why couldn't you spot fraternity? I'm so disappointed in you. Go paddleboard in your backyard canals. What? He's not even rising to it. Why? Logan, not our Logan. Feb Logan. Mrs. Fraternity. And she's the only one to miss anything.
And that's all we have to say about the task.
And then suddenly on the way back to France, there's a Tanner, Josh, and Tiffany and Krista alliance.
There's a shock. So almost like I predicted it pre-season. Shocker. So Justin's first to leave, with Tanner and Josh in second, Tiffany and Krista in third, Denise and James Earl in fourth, Cindy and Rick in fifth, Kelsey and Joey in sixth, and Logan and Chris in last. And teams must now find the Fanton Blanc at Square Louis Michel to receive their next clue.
I've been there. I've been to the... How do you pronounce it?
Square Louis Michel.
Yeah, Square Louis Michel. I was there in 2011. Funny story. Well, there was some street crafts people who I don't think were actually street car people. I think they're just beggars, and got some friendship bracelets made for us, and very naive at the time. I was like, oh, would you be able to change this 50 out for some?
Ben.
Yeah, I was 18, so. And they lasted the entire trip and a few weeks home. So,
but yeah, I have also been to Square Louis Michel, and there were people who chased us to try and get money off us, which is nice of them. That
was the entirety of where we went in France, though. Well, not the entirety, but a lot of it. Plus, women with clipboards. I've never actually seen them in my entire life, and then suddenly they're all of them in France.
Clipboard, that endangered species in Australia. Fun fact: Australia does not have clipboards.
We have clipboards.
Ben just said he'd never seen one in his entire life.
Really?
I said women.
I've got tons at work.
I said women with clipboards.
Women with. Sorry.
Yeah, like the touch paper and just let it go.
So they don't have women or men with clipboards going around asking for signatures in Sydney or the Gold Coast or wherever you are now.
Yeah, they do in Sydney.
They don't in 30,000 population town Lismore. So
no, I don't suppose so. You need more people.
You need people to actually sign it, Ben.
Well, if it was things like legalizing weed or opening a new alternative living store or hemp, that sort of thing, there'd be at least dozens and dozens.
And the train leaves without Logan and Chris as well. So they're an hour behind Frowny Face.
Who's Frowny Face, and why are they an hour behind them?
Also, did anyone else notice Kelsey and Joey's monogrammed hats?
Yes,
No?
they have their own names on their hats. I noticed that right near the very end of the episode. Where did that come from?
Really?
Well, they are news reporters, so I mean, they need a teleprompter to tell them everything. So maybe they just need to look at their caps every now and again and run over their names.
It was really noticeable when they were in Squarely with Michelle, because Joey had his on backwards, but Kelsey did have hers on facing the camera, basically with massive letters saying Kelsey.
Well, in rap music, I mean, you say your own name a lot, so. If you have your own name on your hat, then you don't really have to say your own name anymore to remind people who you are.
I did ask them on Twitter whether it was if they forgot their own names.
What's my name?
They've not got back to me.
What makes you think, before you go on a race, let's go and get some hats with our names on them? I just don't understand the thought process.
Well, Nick and Matt from last season, they had shirts with their own names on it. I guess it's a branding thing. For
Unfinished Business, Seven Justin had the Duck Whisperer t-shirts as well.
And they had Harlem Globetrotter t-shirts.
Oh, that's okay. That's like your hashtag. But your actual name.
At the end of Unfinished Business, Luke actually was at the finish line with a shirt that said "The Sinister Death Kid," which is what Mike called him during season 14.
When they find the Phantom Blanc, teams find out it's the detour, which is Drops Mike, which is such an awkward name of a detour, or Buster Crab. And in Drops Mike, teams must learn a French rap song and perform it with enough pronunciation and swagger to receive the next clue. And in Buster Crab, teams must recreate a seafood platter perfectly to receive the next clue.
I believe they refer to it henceforth as vibe instead of swagger, because 18-year-old white kids have ruined the word swagger. So.
Hashtag swagger, hashtag YOLO.
And now the UK have ruined another thing. Thanks, Michael.
Swag.
Back in my day, swag used to refer to something you'd sleep under at a billabong, under the shade of a cooler tree.
Being fearful of drop bears.
We always fear the jump bucks and the
campfire billabong.
Under the shade of a cooler tree. Sing it, Logan.
I have no idea what the hell you guys are talking
about. Logan, you know what drop bears are, don't you?
Hashtag just Australian things.
Drop bears are Australia's most fearsome animals.
Yeah.
I have never heard of that.
They fall out of eucalyptus trees onto people's faces and claw them.
No, they don't fall; they drop.
They're like the monkeys in that Family Guy episode where they do the parody of the atomic bomb, and then the guy has the parking ticket, and then he looks up and something's about to drop, and then it's just some monkey that starts clawing at his face.
Drop bears are the Australian myth used to describe koalas.
What are you talking? No, they're not a myth. Jesus Christ, Michael.
They're true.
They're like the chupacabra?
No. Michael, stop slandering our country.
They're true. Exactly.
May I point out something very important? Drop bears do exist in Canada. Because bear cubs do get left in trees in national parks. Seriously, I took a picture of the signs last year. Parent bears do leave their young in trees, and it is possible for them to drop on people. And there are actually signs in the national parks saying, make sure to look up, you might get a bear in the face otherwise.
Cute.
Cute for a second, then you realise there's a mama bear just around the corner.
Oh, yeah.
And they're ready to eat you unless you make yourself look big and say to stay tuned for a brand new Ally McBeal. Family Guy reference.
And also, just because these bears are the young does not mean that they're liked by any imagination. That would still be a little bit of a sting if it dropped on you.
Look at the Berenstain Bears. They have a lot of problems.
Do the Canadian drop bears drink blood?
Yes.
I don't think so. No, they don't.
True.
They're way too young to drink blood.
No, the Berenstain Bears start young. They're vicious creatures.
Where is this conversation going?
What about the Hair Bear Bunch? Do you remember the Hair Bear Bunch?
No. Anyway, Amazing Race. What did that do for what's swagger?
Hashtag swag, hashtag YOLO.
Michael, you're white. Stop it.
I am intolerably white. Thank you very much. Did anyone else find it a bit ironic that Diana did say that she did not want to be a cheerleader when Justin released the video of him applying to be a cheerleader this week?
Was that serious, though? It didn't look serious from the 20 seconds I skipped through it as.
No, I think it might have been as part of a radio feature, but still.
So, it's another Justin and Diana fight. Diana's ready to stab Justin with a pen, and apparently Justin claims his charisma will overcome any of Diana's problems, which probably comes off more insulting than it was intended to be.
Yeah, and especially awkward as he was watching the episode with his in-laws. Awkward!
Did you hear, though, that apparently they practiced French poetry before they came on the race? They mentioned before, when they were, either heading there or when they got there, one of the things we practiced before we got here was French poetry.
That was from their fake amazing race that they did for the proposal, that she did the roadblock for that.
Yeah, the last task of that was French love phrases that she had to learn in Boston. How I can remember that off the top of my head, I don't know, but I really don't have anything written down about these details.
Really? There's a lot happened.
Yeah, this is the only exciting part of the whole episode from my perspective, anyway.
From a television perspective, bungee jumping and stunt flying is pretty exciting when you're there, but this was the part where people can actually talk about things, because we finally found the one task Tiffany and Krista can really excel at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, she is a speech pathologist, so if she hadn't been very good at this, it would have been a bit awkward for her.
But there are two people in their team, though. And then the other ones who made it fun, so...
They were very enthusiastic.
This was the task that was sort of Tiffany and Krista's breakout.
They broke out episodes ago for me. Eternal optimism and fun, having actual fun being around places rather than just hyper focusing on strategy. That made them huge favorites to me. Also perpetually escaping elimination does that as well.
Yeah.
You know how Shack Attack thought maybe their knife skills would benefit them in the challenge? Do you think it did? I mean, they did really well.
Can we never ever refer to them as Shack Attack as well? It's an awful hashtag.
I hate it, but I just did it.
In this case, it's a team, not a hashtag, because they're not saying hashtag Shack Attack, are they?
No, but they...
Exactly, then.
No, but they came on the race with shirts that said Shack Attack. And that just... it freaks
I don't
out
mind
a
it.
little bit.
It's easy to remember than Rick and Cindy.
Yeah, I'm not saying I like it. I'm just calling them that.
So yeah, Tiffany, Kenny, and Krista massively excelled at this detour.
They put a lot of oomph into their performance. It was really in your face. So Diana's not too thrilled with performing any aspect of this detour.
No. It's a bit out of her comfort zone.
But they get it eventually, and then they keep fighting. It's also, Joey and Kelsey still look like the whitest people alive.
I like how they had pretty much a member of Hell. They had a member of Hell's Angels helping them out with their rap.
Also,
the guy with the huge beard.
Also their tightly fitted backwards caps and their gold laced polo shirts.
They could have auditioned for The Offspring's "Pretty Fly for a White Guy" music video.
They'd
be about 20 years late, Logan.
That's the point. They would still think that was cool. Instead of a 13, they would have a 31.
And then we also got Denise and James all stuck there for however many times, about 20, I'd say.
Yeah, for ages, for hours, they said.
They didn't write up, how many times they were up to, did they?
No, but I think James Earl said it was about 20.
Gosh.
She's up there for the next 2 days doing the same verse, while all the hip-hop artists there are just rethinking their career path.
The female one who was helping them was actually standing over Denise's shoulder, pointing out the words to her as she tried to speak them by the end of the episode.
Just going, come on, you know how to do it. For God's sake, let me go home. I'm stuck here forever.
It's not Leviosa, it's Leviosa.
No, it's Leviosa, not Leviosa. She's a nightmare, honestly. No wonder she had beforehand. I can't do a British accent this time morning.
I wasn't aware that Harry Potter was set in Australia, then.
That wasn't too bad. It was half and half.
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
See, that's better then. That is reasonably English.
Anyway, there's also another... This is a detour, so there was two sides to this task, right?
Yep. And the other one was creating a fish platter, basically.
Lots of crabs.
Shucked oysters and something lobsters and lemons and ice.
Shack attacked oysters.
Shack oysters.
Shack oysters, yes.
Going back to your question from earlier, yes, I do think that their knife skills helped Michelle.
I like that quote about how I wish I could have written that down. I like that quote about how that they glue a knife in the surgery and there'll be a good knife with the fish, and they have to be more accurate in the surgery.
Yeah.
And then they also passed Josh and Tanner, which is fun.
I think if nothing else, it helped them to be less worried about using the knives. Because everyone seemed a little bit sort of scared about using the massive knives.
Yeah, I think it was Tanner or Josh was afraid the other one was going to shank him accidentally.
Texas shanking.
So, once teams complete their side of the detour, they get a postcard with their next route marker on, which is the Pont Alexandre Trois.
Yep.
Or Troisième. And they don't even tell us what it is in the show. I had to go to Wikipedia to find out.
Is that one of the lock bridges or the...
I think pretty much every bridge in Paris that goes over the Seine has locks on it, because the Parisian government aren't particularly happy with it happening.
I think it used to be a lock bridge, but then they, I think, I'm not sure, though, there was a lot of bridges on that river back in 2011, but I might have been one of the bridges that was a lock bridge, but they got rid of all the locks on the bridge soon after 2011 because it was actually damaging the bridge very badly.
Yeah, I think Israel is still the only Amazing Race to actually do a task around the locks. But actually, no, France did as well.
Canada did as well, didn't they? Or they had a pit stop there or something?
They had a pit stop there, but I don't think they actually had a task that involved the locks. France had a task, their first task actually of the entire season was unlocking one. And I think Israel had one. Yeah, Israel had one that was unlocking one as well. But I think they're the only two to ever actually use the lock bridges as a route marker, basically.
It's popular in other countries, but in the country where the government doesn't even condone it, it's, yeah.
And once teams find that glue box, they get sent to the place where the first team will triumph. Terrible pun. The Arc de Triomphe, the pit stop for this leg of the race. The last team to check in may be eliminated.
Is this the second repeated pit stop? Because there was the one place in Japan they used for season 15 and season 23, correct?
Yeah.
And then here we are, repeating a pit stop from the second round of the very first season.
The difference is with this one, Phil actually told us before the season that this was going to happen. Phil specifically said, we are going back to the Arc de Triomphe, we are going back to the Taj Mahal, we're going back to Victoria Falls. Because there are a lot of Amazing Race 1 vibes that they're trying to go for this season.
Well, they've already repeated so many locations and tasks just from the first two rounds of the first season now, and these 3 consecutive rounds now for this season. That's kind of extreme.
Not really extreme. Extreme sort of has the implication of it's unwanted. Like, I'm liking all these flashbacks from 15 years ago.
Oh yeah, I didn't mean extreme bad. I just meant it's strange to see how much they've stuck to the original season over the past few episodes, and that we're going to get a couple more references down the road.
Yeah, they are deliberately going with sort of back to basics vibe and back to season 1 and trying to give the fans what they want, pretty much.
We haven't had any self-drive legs yet this season. We're 6 rounds in. Is that some sort of record?
I believe so, but that's because Ford have abandoned them, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I've been thinking about that the past couple of weeks, and now that we're 6 rounds in and I haven't really seen any Ford commercials or Ford plugs, I'm guessing that because no car company stepped in as a sponsor, that they're just stuck with taxis and public transportation for this season.
Yeah, it's very rare that we have a pair of Africa legs where they're not self-driving.
And then with some of the locations that are coming up where there's no way in hell they'll be driving on the street, we could very well see a whole season where, it's just cabs and trains and buses.
India, Hong Kong, both of those are not going to be very pleasant to drive in. So it's Justin and Diana who check in first, and for the second time this season, they don't get a prize because it's Keep On Racing Leg.
Look out.
Budget cuts.
Yeah. Wah, wah.
I was shocked.
They
Keep on
get jet
racing
skis.
again?
Sadly, some moron on Facebook spoiled it for me that it was going to be a Keep On Racing this week. Which is what I deleted on Amazing Race Fans, Michelle.
Oh, okay.
That someone had basically posted, "Oh my god, I've seen a picture of Phil with the clues in his back pocket. It's a Keep On Racing. There's nobody going to get eliminated this week." Get over yourself. Stop posting that. It's a spoiler, you knobber.
So, first time since Unfinished Business with the two to-be-continued rounds?
I don't hate this happening. I've said this before, but the speed bump is horrible. I'd rather it be Keep On Racing legs than the speed bump. Because at least the Keep On Racing legs make the racers do stupid things because they're more tired.
Especially since they're not flying. You can get a modicum of sleep on a flight, but going from France to Netherlands, that's only like a few hours.
Yeah, that's going to be probably 2-3 hours on the train, I'd guess. And the Gare du Nord is a huge train station, so it will be a direct train, I suspect. Or a reasonably direct train.
Fun fact, but going back to the Paris thing that I went when I went to Paris, it's very hard to get. It's very, very difficult to get from the actual Arc de Triomphe to one of the many corners that surround the Arc de Triomphe, because there is a lot of traffic there. It's terrible traffic.
Well, we saw that with Tiffany and Krista.
Oh no, they underplayed it. They you saw them running across, and it was like a few honks, but like I'd literally fear for my life if I tried to cross like that. I was worried when like Justin and Diana, like the taxi actually stuck them off into the middle of the Arc de Triomphe. So because I was like, well, you're probably going to get smashed. You're going to be smashed by a car there, but apparently it won't. You
should have seen one of the roads when we were in Vietnam a few weeks ago. I mean, it took us 5 minutes to cross, but it was basically a game of Frogger. We just had to sort of slowly inch our way across and hope that people were going to stop or go around us. Also, fun fact, back in 2011, we went from Paris to the Netherlands, although we went to Amsterdam, and on the Amazing Race, they're going from Paris to the Netherlands as well, although they're going to Rotterdam, which is a port city.
Germany?
It is.
Yeah, like Rotterdam's one of like the biggest port cities in Europe compared to Amsterdam, which is similar, but you need to move the R.
And you can actually get a direct sort of overnight ferry from about an hour away from my house to Rotterdam.
Nothing, really? That was like the most clever joke I've ever made.
None of us were listening to you, sorry, Ben. So Tiffany and Krista were second, Kelsey and Joey were third, Tanner and Josh were fourth, Cindy and Rick were fifth, Logan and Chris were sixth, and Denise and James Earl were still out on the racecourse when the episode ended.
Well, you know that somebody who refers to a rap song as having punky little words may or may not struggle with the vibe and the French lyrics to a hip hop beat.
I'm so happy Denise ended up doing that task.
Why did she choose to do that task?
Her rapping was so fun.
There's no rhythm to it whatsoever. It's hilarious.
Oh, her rapping was just wonderful. It really was.
Some people just don't have rhythm.
There's no rhythm. There's less than no rhythm. I don't know what's going on there.
The hip-hop artists have to feel so uncool after spending, several hours around her. They're going to be going back to doing K-Maro songs. It's unbelievable. Just, if I was them, that's what would happen to me. Like the guy with the long beard who looks like he's from Hell's Angels. He's going to be switching to heavy metal rock in no time.
Yeah, French heavy metal. I've never heard of that before.
So, next time, teams head to Rotterdam or anywhere, Liverpool or Rome. There's crash courses and more Justin and Diana attention that is sure to quell the haters. So that's going to be fun for your complaint blog next week, Logan.
Yeah, that's all the complaints are all about is just Justin, Diana, Tanner and Josh, a couple references to Denise, and then something about the race being racist or being awful in some way to do with animal rights. That's pretty much what happens each week.
Well, to be fair, it's so racist that they only spit on the white people.
It's so racist that the white people are struggling with the rap song.
Which may I point out, The Soup also picked up on that clip and found it hilarious that they basically came up with something vaguely cultural to confuse them. So yeah, anything else to say about this leg?
I'm glad people other than Josh and Tanner and Justin and Diana are actually excelling, and to an extent, Kelsey and Joey, who I still think are going to win this. Who I still think are going to win the season.
Really?
That was my exact reaction when he told me.
No.
Yeah, like if it's not one of the obvious Justin, Diana, or Josh and Tanner, it's gonna be Kelsey and Joey.
I mean, I am unspoiled. I think that Tanner and Josh are probably going to be going out when there's a U-turn next, because I can't see Justin and Diana being the ones who get U-turned out. I can't see that be what they're building up to. Because the next U-turn's got to appear in an elimination, like, surely. But, yeah, I think it'll be one of the forgettable characters next week who goes, one of the teams we really don't see much of.
Kelsey and Joey?
I don't think it'd be Kelsey and Joey, because I like Kelsey and Joey more than you guys do, obviously. They're basically the embodiment of it could be worse.
I don't think they're interesting at all. Like, if they were fighting like Logan and Chris, I'd find them interesting. But, you know, Logan and Chris is a level which no one can really hope to achieve. But there's not really any quote forgettable characters left at this point in the race, the final 7. So, like, I mean, the only team we haven't really seen that much of is Cindy and Rick. So
yeah, I think my preferred option for the next 2 eliminations is probably Tanner and Josh and Cindy and Rick, because I think a final 5 with the other 5 would be awesome, or the best one for the season at least.
I think Justin and Diana are alright people and alright characters, but I don't like that they're dominating the race. Unless you have a certain je ne sais quoi about you. Look at me, I'm speaking French. Unless you have a certain je ne sais quoi about you, like, say, Natalie and Megan, well then I don't really like, have a thing for you dominating the race. And Justin and Diana do not have that je ne sais quoi for me. Whereas it's the unlikely domination, or the domination from a team that we haven't seen before, that I prefer rather than insert dating couple here.
I don't think pre-season we would have predicted that Justin and Diana would be the ones to have won half of the legs so far, just on paper.
No, but it doesn't make the actual domination any less. Yeah. To me.
What's everyone's heart rate right now? Have we all been keeping track after recapping each task?
I think mine's quite low at the moment. I'm practically dead.
I'm currently lying on a bed, so it's not as if I've got anything more than, 90?
I'm like 80 something. Also, Joey's heart rate was like 157, which is, I'm not an athlete, but 157 is around the heart rate you get when you've been running for like 10 minutes straight. So
yeah, when I went to A&E on Monday night, I think the highest my heart rate got to was about 114. So yeah, 157 is rather high.
Like, I go to the gym and I check the heart rate machine. I check the heart rate machines while on the treadmill, and after running for 5 minutes straight, my heart rate's like 180 something.
Jesus.
So 157 is like still up there, and that's still pretty high for.
157 is nearly 3 beats a second. Jeepers. So anything else to say about this episode before we devolve into heart rates again?
No.
Double elimination next leg. Both Justin and Diana and Josh and Tanner go.
Don't make me laugh.
Denise doesn't get the rap song down. The mic drops, but the mic drops onto her head out of James Earl's frustration.
How about, she's still doing it when we're at the final pit stop. Sorry.
Phil just had to say, and Denise and James Earl couldn't join us at the finish line because Denise is still doing that goddamn rap song. She's still trying to get 24 seconds of rap down.
They really should have done that other detour.
But they couldn't find it, that's why they switched. So, thank you very much for joining us. You can join us again to recap the next episode next weekend. If you enjoyed the show, and even if you didn't, please give us a like on YouTube, and subscribe and rate the episodes on iTunes. If you want to see what we're rambling about this week, you can tweet us at MJ Harmstone, at Logsuperquacky, at Bear333333, and at Ink1Y, all of which are spelled in the descriptions everywhere. If you missed our interview with Amazing Race 1's Joe and Bill, that is also available on iTunes. And finally, if you're following the Celebrity Apprentice Australia, Ben is blogging that all season, which you can find at yatncast.wordpress.com. Thank you again.
Hashtag Ginger Ninja, hashtag Super Kawaki, hashtag Okanagan, hashtag Logan Saunders. Peace.
That's never gonna get less talky. Ever.